Captain Stephen Shakeshaft, Fayetteville Fire Department, and welcome to the Fayetteville Fire Podcast, your source for all the fire, safety, and sometimes random information you never knew you wanted. Man, it is great to be here.
Hey, man, great to have you on this crossover episode. It's funny, I met you at this career fair. What middle school were we at?
Man, I walked into Douglas Byrd Middle School Career Fair, and there's the Durham Fire Department at the middle school career day, and I was like, what is happening right now?
Hey, listen, we got to try to reach young minds wherever it may
Facts.
be. There's no distance too far. But listen, we got a special episode. This is a podcast for firefighters, by firefighters, and for people interested in the fire service. And we got a couple topics we're going to hit on. We're going to get to you and how you came about, and then we're going to talk about Fayetteville and Durham Fire and what we have in common. But before we get into that, Producer Patrick, how you feeling today?
I am feeling terrific. This is going to be a fun episode. Cool crossover. I'm going to be interested to hear how your podcast runs, and I think we're going to have two really good hosts today. If you guys don't mind, could I start us off with a question?
Fire away.
Okay, so we all know that we got two departments represented here, and we all know. I don't have to tell you guys this. Every firefighter has strong opinions. Right.
Say it ain't so.
the way I do it's the right way. This is the way to do it. This is how it's done, right? Yeah. But with that in mind, what are some things that every firefighter can agree on?
Fires are awesome. Going to fires are awesome.
I tell everybody, I don't want your house to burn. But if it's going to burn, I want to be working. I want to be the person there.
Right,
And the other thing I can say we agree on is that the mission comes first. We're a family, and that means we fight like a family. We fight like brothers and sisters. We get mad at each other. We help each other when in need. But at the end of the day, no matter what happens, when those tones go off, we're there. The mission comes first, no matter what personal stuff is going on. So I think any department you go to, you'll find that environment.
Yeah, and also, on a every day-to-day basis, man, we can all agree that food is important. We just may not agree on what we're going to have for dinner.
Hardest decision of the day.
Always the hardest decision. You can start the conversation at 7 a.m. and at 12 or 10, wherever you decide to go to the grocery store, still be like, all right, so what are we going to do? And usually it ends up being, well, let's see what's on sale. And that's how we end up deciding what we're going to eat that day. So, yeah, man. So let's get into it. Captain Shakeshaft, tell us where you come from, a little bit about your background, and how you got into the fire department, whether it was Fayetteville or where you started off. And let's just go into it, dig into it.
So my dad was in the military, then a DOD guy, so we moved around a lot when we were young. And I settled in Pennsylvania in high school, stayed there all through high school, and my boss at Pizza Hut was a volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
So I was working at Pizza Hut. One day her pager goes off, and the other boss says, hey, you're good to go. You can go to the call. We're good here. And she flipped her shiny lights on and peeled tires out of the parking lot, and I said, I can leave work and drive fast? What? I got to check this stuff out. So went down to the volunteer fire department and did my little hang-around time and joined that department. And then I started to see, man, I can leave work, I can drive fast, and I can break stuff.
Yeah, man. What department was that?
Man, this was in Pennsylvania, little town, Coolbaugh Township Volunteer Fire Department in Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania, middle of nowhere.
One station, or it's like
one? They had two stations, but completely volunteer, 100% volunteer, no paid staff at all.
Oh man!
And it was we're running 350 calls a year.
Nice.
and by random happenstance, I had dropped out of college, moved with my father to Fayetteville. And I moved in right at the right time. It was God ordained. They needed 40 firefighters in one hire. That's my average all year.
Really?
They needed 40 firefighters right away. And I just happened to show up in Fayetteville right at that moment. And they took a chance on a 19-year-old punk who thought he knew everything. They took a chance on me, and it has paid off dividends.
So I'm going to get into your process because I want to know how that goes and how it was for you. But you said you moved to Fayetteville with your dad. Was he still in the military then?
He was with DOD employee, working on base.
Okay. So you moved down here, come to Fayetteville. Is it a different world from where you grew up?
Completely different world. People come from Raleigh and Charlotte and Fayetteville and Durham, and they see the littlest big town is what I call it. We're the littlest big city in America, right? But for me, this was huge.
Yeah.
We're running 30,000 calls a year, 17 stations, 350 full-time firefighters. And this is crazy to me. It's a brave new world, right?
Nice.
So coming in, again, I was 19, 20 years old, thought I knew everything, and quickly learned how much I didn't know.
So you go through the process. Just take me just briefly through what the process looked like for you versus what it is now versus what you went through, and just talk about that.
Yeah. So back then, we had a physical ability test that I kind of tell everybody was one of the easiest physical ability tests on the East Coast. It was not hard, but it was the easiest one to fail because one mistake and you were out. It was done in 7 sections where each section was its own event, its own time. There was no room for error. You had to run a half mile, raise and lower the ladder, Kaiser sled, lift up and put down hose, right? Yeah. So every section you had 45 seconds to do this. You had 1 minute to do that. You had 5 minutes to do this. So it was really not that hard. But if you messed up one error, you're done. There's no recovery. Versus now, we have that modified CPAT that it's 10 minutes and 20 seconds total to do everything. So you can struggle in one area and really exceed at another and still pass, because that's what we're looking for in employees is that all-around skill level, not the I never make a mistake ever. Yeah. Right? So it's a whole lot better now.
So you mentioned some of the things so similar to what your experience was. When I first came on, what I can recall with Durham is we had separate sections too. We had like something like toe touch, you had a stretch. We had ladder lift where we lifted up the ladder from the ground and just put it over our head. Yeah. Yep. We had a mile and a half run. This was 2006 for those. Just for those.
And mine was 2005. So 2005, same time frame.
Okay.
Same time frame.
So yeah. And then but it's separate sections. Like the mile and a half was time. Yep. I think you had to do the stretch and reach. I mean, it wasn't really a time for that, but you had to stretch a certain distance in order to show your flexibility. Crawling through the maze, they're all different sections, right? Whereas now, ours is a Biddle test. It's very work related. So
what test? What is it?
It's called it's called a Biddle test. If you just go to,
I have no idea.
For those,
asking the same thing.
For those, I don't know where it came from. I don't know the origin of where it came from, and that I can't. Maybe we switched to that probably 15 years ago, but for those interested that are watching and trying to get hired with Durham, because we're currently hiring.
Are you? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Plug it. Yeah.
No. I'm hesitant because I don't know when this is going to air necessarily and if we'll be closed by then. But either way, if you're curious about Durham Agility Test, go to Durham Fire Department YouTube, type in Durham Agility Test, and that'll give you an idea what it is. But it's very work related. So you carry a ladder. You carry a 20-foot ladder. We do have the Kaiser sled. We have a wet hose pull. So you got to pull that 100 feet wet, inch and 8/8 line. And then we do things like stairs. You run the stairs with a hose pack, run the stairs with simulated bottles, and you're wearing an air pack the whole time, as well as a 185-pound dummy pull. So, but it sounds like, and ours is 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Sounds like yours is pretty similar,
yeah,
right?
So we're doing a 50-pound weight vest instead of an air pack, right? So 50-pound weight vest, you do 4 flights of stairs 3 times. The very first thing we do is smoke you. Right. The rest of the test is tired. Right, so 4 flights of stairs 3 times. Then you go and you do the hose. We do a dry hose drag around a turnbuckle. So you pull it around the turnbuckle, then pull it to you. And then I hate to hear, we're not in competition. We're supporting each other with recruitment all the time. But I hate to hear you guys are still using the Kaiser sled, man. Whoo, that is the equalizer for all. Hey. And we got rid of it and we went to the CPAT Forcible Entry Simulator. Really? The one that you stand up doing it. Yeah. Instead of bent over, man. That Kaiser sled, if you are preparing to test for Durham, get those body mechanics down, folks. It's all about body mechanics with that. But we switched to the stand-up Forcible Entry Simulator. Same thing, sledgehammer. You beat it till it makes a noise. You get done with that, then you go and you do ladder raise and lower. Then the push-pull with the pike pole. Do you guys have that?
We don't do that.
So we do the push-pull with a pike pole, weighted up top, and then you go do that 185-pound dummy, 85 feet to cross the finish line. You got 10 minutes and 20 seconds to pass the whole thing.
It sounds yours sounds I've seen it before the pull down. So man, So it's funny because you said you smoke yours early. I always tell people, and we had some practice agility sessions because we want people to get those mechanics down so you can perform your best. So we offer practice agility sessions, and people come out. But I always tell them, like, look, man, like, I know it doesn't look like a lot. I know it looks like it's going to be fairly simple to do. But by the time you get to the stairs, you wore your legs out. You're doing rafter crawl. You're pulling the dummy. You're smoking your legs. And now we see people that get to the stairs with, like, 4 minutes. They're 4 minutes, 4 minutes. And then by the time they finish the 2 flights of stairs that they have to do, they end up doing 8 minutes. Maybe some people quit and tap out. Like, so it's very interesting. It's not anything that is easy as far as the agility test.
Yeah. So we do practice sessions just like you do. We call them candidate orientations.
Okay.
And we do a Women in the Fire Service Day. We do a candidate orientation with ladies because, let's face it, who doesn't know anything about the body mechanics of being a woman? This guy, no clue. So we bring in our women from the fire department, and we do a Women in the Fire Service Day where they can practice the physical ability test with other women to give them tips and tricks that they used. But here's the catch. We don't let anybody do the physical ability test start to finish. You're only doing the sections to learn the body mechanics of each section. Because if I've got 35 people in this candidate orientation, I can't send all of them start to finish through the test. There's no time, right?
Similar. We do the same thing.
So I tell the folks when they're there, you're going to get done today and you're going to think, that wasn't that bad. But I'm telling you, when you do those stairs first, it changes everything. So get out, run stairs, run hills. When you think you can't run anymore, run some more because it's all cardio, it's all endurance.
That's hey. Stairs, cardio, endurance, that's what it's all about. In legs, I tell people their legs as well. A lot of it's technique as well.
And
technique is
the body mechanics is what matters. Yeah.
So we talked about the agility test, right? How was your testing process? Do y'all have a custom exam that y'all do? Is it a standard?
So we actually do the written exam first.
Okay.
The very first thing we do is the written exam because that kind of narrows the field down. When you're doing physical ability testing, that is multiple days of 8 staff members a day to run that physical ability test versus the written exam is just me and a partner. So we do the written exam first. It's a standard test that is we purchase it from an outside vendor, so it's vetted, it's fair, it's math, reading comprehension, problem solving, and memory at about a 10th grade level. And the memory is the hardest part is the memory. I tell everybody the memory test is the hardest part of the test. The rest of it is 10th grade level stuff. Basically, can you learn? That's all. We need to know that you can pass school. Can you learn? That's what it's there for. And it's a gateway to the rest of the process. So then you get to the physical ability test and then the interview after that.
Yeah. Ours is similar. I mean, we made a custom test. We just moved this test last year. It was the first time doing it, but it's more personality. It's a lot of questions like, hey, if you see your officer stealing or whatever, like, do you strongly agree, disagree, things like that.
Yeah.
Things of those natures. We do have like a map reading section or this gear is going this way, this gear is going that way. Those are kind of the things that you'll see on the test. A little bit of math, but it's mostly geared towards that, like your personality aspect of it. So that's the biggest change. Now, when I did it, it was like a lot of math and reading comprehension. Yeah. No personality, really. And it was the thing that got majority of people kicked out of the process. Like, we had like a 50% pass rate for that test.
Wow.
Yeah, and I am not ashamed to say I passed that thing by the skin of my teeth. I had no idea because you go into it, you don't know what you're like. There was, for my process back in 2006, there was no study guide, so I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah,
I'm going into this thing blind, and I think a lot of times, people get tripped up. At least in the past, it was like, hey, instead of just looking at it as a math equation, they get caught up in you have 2 inch and 3/4 hose lines, flowing 300 gallons, right? How many gallons are they flowing together, right? Yeah. It's just 300 plus 300, but they get caught up on the fire words and the aspect, and it kind of tricks them up. So that's where we used to lose a lot of people, but and for unlike you guys, I don't know if you guys, I don't know, you didn't talk about this, but do you guys grade on site right then? Do they know?
No, we send them out. We send them back. The company
The
company writes the test. The company scores the test. They handle all of it that way because we want to keep it. We want to keep it as fair and equitable as possible. And I'm not smart enough to write a test that I know is fair. I think I'm an okay smart guy, but I'm not that smart to make sure that test is fair. So we let them handle that, and they'll know. We know typically within 5 days. Within 5 days, we got the results back.
So tests, your written test, your agility test, right?
Yep.
What's next in the process?
So then you do your board interview, your panel interview, and we do. We always have at least one firefighter, one fire officer, and we actually put a resident of Fayetteville on that interview panel as well.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yep. So the big thing that we've discovered over the years, and this all started back in 2017-ish, and we'll talk about that later, is the residents of Fayetteville are who these folks are serving. So number one, we can get people who are on that panel that have a vested interest in our community to help us choose who's serving them. And then also, secondly, firefighters hear fire talk. Firefighters are listening for certain things, whether they realize it or not. So by putting a civilian on that panel, they may pick up on something that we don't pick up on. They might hear something in somebody that we don't hear. Because as my old boss, Ronnie Willett, would say, and I steal this quote, I use it all the time, I'm not looking to hire good firefighters. I'm going to make you a good firefighter. I got the staff and my training cadre to do that. I'm looking to hire good people. I can't teach you that. So having that extra ear that isn't a firefighter helps us find those best people.
That's interesting. We do different ranks as well. We don't bring in a citizen, but we do have people from all different ranks, from firefighter all the way up to captain or chief. So we do have that as well. Was the interview panel the same for you? Like when you came
No, for me it was 5 people when I went through it, and it was all fire department folks.
Okay.
It was 5 people, and it was all, I looked up and it was all uniformed people.
Yeah, we had a panel. I think my panel was mainly fire people. I think we had an HR person in there as well.
Yeah. We had an HR person in there, but it was the fire department.
Yeah. Okay.
It was the fire department person. Yeah.
So you do the interview. What's after that?
Yeah. So do you guys do an eligibility list?
We do. Before when you apply your application, the only eligible candidates go through the process. Mm-hmm. So they kick out the people that don't.
But I mean, at the end of it, when you have everybody who passed, you have a list that you maintain, or do you run a hiring process every time you need to hire?
We select who we're going to give job offers to. And listen, I don't deal with that part of it personally.
Gotcha.
There may be a small list for people that decide that they turn down a job offer, but once we select and we have our people set, then it's a new process.
Gotcha.
We run a totally different process.
So we only run our process one time a year.
Yeah, we do
once a year. Every fall, you only hire once a year? Like you don't hire multiple times a year?
No, we hire once. We hire once a year because our academy is 8 months.
Oh, okay. Ours is 6. I mean, it's pretty close. Yeah.
So we hire one time a year for new entry.
Gotcha.
And then we do a certified or lateral process.
Gotcha.
So that's our separate, but that's totally different process.
I got you.
Totally different process. So
we do one time a year in September. We open up applications. Used to be January up until last year. We just transitioned to the fall for a plethora of reasons. So we run in September for the applications. The process runs all the way through the new year. So pretty much your last interview, because we do a chief's interview after the panel interview.
Okay.
After the panel interview, the top candidates get a chief's interview. Okay. So that whole process runs all the way through the new year.
Yeah.
And then we start hiring, and we hire all year long off of that list. Typically, I'm going to run 2 academies. So you might get done with everything, pass everything. You get that email. Congratulations, you've made the list. That is not a job offer. Not everybody on that list is going to get a job. We're going to hire off that list for however many academies we need, which on average is 2 a year, but it just depends on the needs of the department. And we'll hire off that list of candidates.
That's both new hire. They're both new hire academies.
So what we do is the process to get to the eligibility list is the same whether you are certified or not. The whole process is the same to get on the list. Once you are on it, if we decide to hire you as a certified candidate, that's where things change. You have a 5 to 6 week academy instead of a 6 months academy. We do bring you in at elevated pay rates. You can come in up to a financial step 4 in our pay scale. We max you out at financial step 4 in the pay scale, but you can come in at a higher rate. You can get a short academy, but the hiring process is the same whether you're certified or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we are different in that aspect. Our hiring process for our certified is a totally different process. It's a little bit shorter. It's quicker. As far as even the interview aspect is different. It's not like a panel. It's a totally different aspect.
Back during the COVID days, we had to do a couple certified only hires just out of need.
Yeah.
Everybody took a hit in the application pool. I haven't met a single fire department yet that didn't take a hit in the application pool during COVID. And when we had that happen, we then had to run some certified only hiring processes where all there was a chief's interview. We didn't do a panel interview for the certified hires because they were small, but in general, that's not the case.
For those that are certified that are interested in our process, I will say, with us, you apply. We have you have tasks that you have to do. So, advance the hose line, stretching down the hallway, flowing water. We're gonna have VES drill. We throw a 24-foot by yourself, go into the window, search, pull the victim out, get them out the window. We have a simulated ventilation where you climb up the ladder, throw a 24 again, climb up, vent the roof, forcible entry. It's several different parts, but that is and it's tiring. So that is their agility test in itself because it's back to back. Like you're doing it, you go to the next one, you go to the next one. So it is pretty it's not light work. I know some people who come in who's applied and they think because they've done it for 5 years that it's going to be a breeze.
Yeah, we have that too.
It's like, yeah, man, you didn't do great on this. So we can't give you a job offer. But yeah, so they get their list of people that come in and they do it, and then they'll pick from that selection.
How does your short academy work?
It is 8 weeks, so it's 2 months. They go through the fire stuff. Just make sure you know how we do it in Durham because Durham does it different than Fayetteville or.
Yep.
Going to do a different to carry or whatever.
Yeah,
so we make
sure
you know how our SOPs and SOGs and how we operate. And that's I don't know if you get it all the time, but I get it all the time when people ask me, I'm an EMT or I'm a firefighter. Do I have to sit through the academy or do I have to do this?
Get the question all the time.
Yeah, because, wherever you're from might operate differently. And we want to make sure you're proficient at what you're doing and you know what you're doing. On top of the EMS aspect, like just our medical director and what we can do may be different from another county within the state. So you got to go through that part. All those little
details.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: have you ever run into a case, and you might not know the answer, where somebody made it to that short academy, but then it was like, oh, wait a minute, we might not be where we need to be with this person? Have y'all ever run into that? Because that's a question I get a lot from
training.
certified
So the
folks.
training cadre would probably be best for that.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that's been kicked out of the short academy. The main academy happens all the time.
It happens, yeah.
But the certified, I don't know anybody personally. I'm sure there probably has been, but I personally don't know. But I will say one thing about training cadre: they are very, 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 very strong-minded as far as we want you to, you're not about to put smut on our name.
Right.
We don't want you to come out here looking a hot mess and then we got to hear it from the field. So they're very strict on, you need to know what you're doing.
Yep.
You need to be able to operate by yourself. And if you can't, we're sorry, we'll cut you. There's been people that's been cut at the very end. You went through 7 months and you're cut at the last month of the academy. They're not, there's no room. We want the best of the best. We want you to operate and be able to function as a Durham firefighter. So that's that's their mindset.
So we actually ran into a little problem, and you're going to, with growing pains and times changing, it's going to happen. But when we were running the certified only academies, when we just hired those certified folks, we really were in a, what do we do if they don't make the cut? We hate it, but we have to let them go. I mean, this person left a department, came to us, and now we got to let them go sometimes. And that was hard to do as a human. That's hard. Yeah. But that being said, the cool part about the way we're doing things now is because the fully certified folks and the uncertified folks are coming through together through the hiring process. Let's say you're a certified firefighter, but you just got certified 6 months ago. You have no experience at all, right? Yeah. If you are not to our standard, which is high, extremely high, if you're not there, we can roll you back into that full academy so you don't lose your job. We've have the opportunity to roll back in and go through the full academy and up your skills to where they need to be, and then we'll make that decision if we have to in the future. So that's a good thing for folks if you are looking to come to us from another agency. It offers that little bit of extra security if you don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah, we've done similar as well as found someone who may not hit the standard, but then got rolled into the new hire academy.
Yeah.
Just to brush up their skills. Because I mean, there's been different times throughout our department where we used to do laterals where you had to have just graduate from just a community college or have your certified your North Carolina 1 and 2 certifications in EMT, but it didn't matter about you having necessarily
experience
as long as you came from a fire academy within the last 2 years, whether it's Durham Tech or whatever. They were cool with it. That didn't really shake out like we wanted, so now it's the 2 years and 4 years of experience depending on which level you try to go for. And again, like I said, they're very, very picky about making sure you meet those standards. So you go through your academy. How long was your academy when you went through it?
When I went through it, I want to say it was right around 5 months. We haven't added much to it, it's because we only do firefighter 1 and 2 and EMT.
Yeah,
it's just firefighter 1 and 2 and EMT. That is all you do in the academy. I know some departments are adding rescue tech stuff and driver operator stuff. All we do is fire 1 and 2 and EMT. So it's 4 months and a few days plus 2 months for EMT, and you're done. And mine was similar. It was a little bit shorter, but not much.
Yeah, mine was 4 months. We did the basic firefighter 1 and 2 EMT. Ours is 8 months now. We used to do AEMT, but now we're only do EMT. So, but we're not doing anything extra as far as like getting rescue tech or hazmat tech out the academy. It's just the basic 1 and 2, and then your EMT. But my 4-month experience was. It was a doozy. It was doozy. And the academy itself is different than what it was today. Like I tell people, and I mentioned it on here before. Like we were running every day, like running miles, like very we were running 4 or 5 miles, then having to race back and sit through a class and all that. And the academy now, they're more. We have a ex NC State personal trainer for the athletic department. He is heading the academy right now, and he's revamped the program where it's very job related. So getting your heart rate up, like very short stints of working hard, then get that rest and back up again. So they're doing things like tire flips, they're doing stairs, they're doing a lot of. So it's very, very awkward movements where like in a fire you're pulling ceiling, like there's no way to really train for that.
Right?
So he's doing very well at doing that as well. You graduated the academy. What academy number were you in?
So we do it based on the year. So you'd be like 1 2006, 2 2006, 1 2014, 2 2014. That's how we.
So you're 1 2005?
So, I would have been 1 2006. I went through the process in 2005, and then January of 2006 was when I started.
So you finished the academy. Just take us through where do you go? Where do you go out first?
So funny you should ask. We had a temporary fire station opened up. So back in the early 2000s, Fayetteville exploded. There was annexation all around through the county. That's what caused them to need to hire so many people. Was we annexed a bunch of county area, and I was at a temporary. My first night on shift was at a normal fire station, and then my second day on shift was opening temporary station 15. It was a double wide trailer with a metal building for a garage.
Nice.
And you were lucky to run one call a day. You were lucky
not so
to
nice.
run a call a day.
Not so nice.
It was miserable. And I loved the dudes I worked with. It wasn't at all the people. But as a 19, 20-year-old kid, you want to fight some fire and you want to do some stuff. So I spent a year at that temporary station before finally they said, hey, somebody's got to go to station 6. And I threw my hand up and said, pick me. And from there, I've had 7 station assignments all across the city, all across the battalions, different shifts. And I can tell you that every one of them was different and great for one reason or another. Some of them not so great for one reason or another.
Do you have a favorite though?
So it depends on what am I looking at favorite for
whether it's crew or whether it was your favorite.
There you go. So favorite crew, Station 6. Station 6, we were all at the same life stage. We all had no kids. We all went out and hung out outside of work on Friday night.
That was a good time.
We were fairly young, right? Yeah. And when it comes to call volume and different types of calls, I went to Station 14 kicking and screaming. I did not want to go to Station 14. I was very not happy that's where I was going. And it turned out when it comes to call volume, I burned through a set of turnout gear in 3 years. I mean,
why didn't you want to go to 14?
So 14 back then, 14. Today it's our rescue house, right?
Okay.
It is the home of Rescue 1.
Okay.
Back then it was called Rescue 14, and it was kind of a brand new station. Everybody's eyes were on it. The crew there was at all different life stages. I did not have the same personal relationships at 14 that I had at 6. That bond was not there for me because I was the young guy hanging out with a bunch of fathers who like to hunt on Saturdays, and that wasn't me.
Right.
But when it came to what they taught me and the calls that we ran and what I learned being on a rescue company, awesome where it was at.
I think that's important for just people to know, because just the young fellas and gals in the fire service, like you know, you go to the station, initially you come in with just a predetermined notion of what it's going to be, expectation, whether it's terrible or good, right? But a lot of times the crew, that's what makes the station.
Yeah.
One thing I learned, like for me, I came in the fire service, I was 18, 19 by the time I graduated. Like the fire department matured me.
Yeah.
Because I had those older guys. Like I went to the station, my first crew was a captain that had been here 20 plus years, a driver that's been here 20 plus years. My firefighter in the back had been here like 5 years, so he was fairly close to me. He was older in life, but he has new into the fire service like me in that aspect. But, you know, it just helped mature me, just hearing them, getting life advice. Hey, invest your money in this, doing this, right?
Yep.
And it was needed. And then my second assignment, shout out to Captain Shakeshaft, who's like my mentor, and my kids call him Papa Don. Came very close. Like we did stuff outside of work, whitewater rafting. We went as a crew. We became very tight. So that's probably my favorite assignment was not Station 7. We were at Station 7 for 5 years, and then went to Station 2 for 5 years because we were USAR in the rescue team.
Yeah.
So we bonded, but he helped mature me. You know, helped me. I was young and naive, and helped me get my. But that was it was a blessing, because at the time, like I liked Station 2. Station 2 was a fun house to be at, but you know, going to Station 7 and just having that whole experience and my whole crew, you just be open minded to it, because it will surprise you. You don't know what you might get.
And then when I promoted and they moved me to Station 9, which is an extremely busy house, engine, truck, and squad at the time. Doesn't have a squad anymore, but back then it did. Extremely busy house. I was excited to go to another house with a high call volume, lots of action, good folks. And as a supervisor, you want to talk about an environment to learn to lead. This house, man. I had a captain who was by far the best fireground commander I have ever seen in my life. He still works for us today. He's been with the city of Fayetteville for 40 years. Shout out to Captain Lem Ivy. You're the man. And he taught me a lot on the fireground side. And then we had another lieutenant there who was like really a policy guy. He was really on people about every little policy. And then you had me, where I was the people guy. So you learn all you can from this amazing fireground commander. Then you got one lieutenant riding you because your hat's too faded. And then you got another lieutenant saying, hey, man, you're okay if you're doing good, smoothing things over, but fix your dang hat. Like, it was a great balance of leadership. It really was such a cool place to learn to be a leader, surrounded by, and there's a BC there. There's a battalion chief at that station too. So it was a great place to learn to step up that leadership role.
Yeah, like I said, Station 2, went from 7 to Station 2, which was where Battalion 2 was at, and kind of similar, the same thing. The story's the same. Like, you had a great leader, just life lessons, just showing you how to lead and being the example. Had a guy, again, Richard Chavis, shout out to him, hilarious, just funny guy, will make you laugh. Nate Taylor, Edwin McDonald, a bunch of people I can name that was just vital in the aspect and showed you different elements and just different things. One very particular, somebody OCD, like very making sure. Chief, you know, I got in trouble a couple times with the chief because the uniform wasn't necessarily, you know, whether my hat was backward or whatever the case may be. It was that type of situation, but it helped me learn and grow in that aspect. Similar to your story again, like, it's funny what you pick up from different people, and then kind of just how you grow from that, and now using it later on in life. Like, I call Captain Shakeshaft now to this day. Been retired, I don't know, maybe 5 years now, man. I'm like, Cap, like, Guess what happened? Guess what I had to tell this little young punk? Guess what I had to tell him? Man?
Just don't forget you were that young punk.
Exactly. I had to pull a you on him. So I channeled the inner the shades out. So sounds like you had a pretty. How long were you in the field for?
So I was in the field for 14 years, just under 15 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
What made the What made?
Well, that was gonna be my next question.
Okay.
Was how do you wind up in recruitment, or is that your title now? It's just recruiter? Is that what your title? Or
technically I'm a driver, and this is technically not a true position yet. It's like we're getting there.
I hear you. That's how mine started.
We're trying to get there, right? So I went on light duty, had a bunch of stuff going on personally where I just needed to get my health under control. Mentally I had a lot going on, and I was just in a bad place. Okay. So I was on light duty, doing everything I needed to do to get that situated. And before I was doing it, I was always been part of the recruitment team. So there was we had this Chief Zodos, shout out to him. He started this recruitment and hiring committee, and his focus was like, hey, I want our department to look like the city we serve. So how do we help, change the look of the department and get more people involved or learn about the job? Because a lot of people don't believe me when I tell you. Like, people think, and I used to hear old firemen and firefighters say this all the time, like, yo, like, people should, like, we should want people that want to come here. Mm-hmm. But naturally, everybody doesn't know about this job. There's so many people that don't know
100%.
Anything other than what they might see on TV, right?
Yep.
And I tell people all the time, like, society is like, society whole, America, throughout the world, right? We're all kind of followers in the aspect of, if all your brothers play football or all your siblings played a certain sport, you're probably going to play that sport, right? If all your family was in the military or were all cops or all whatever, you're probably likely to follow those footsteps. You have the intangibles where they go totally opposite direction. But for certain communities, they don't see those people. They don't know people. So they don't know anything. Facts. It's not even something they consider. Facts. So they don't even think about doing it, right? Yep. So my whole thing was like, yo, we want to help, get to those communities that don't know anything about this job and just bring it to their front door. Like, hey, did you know this? Did you This is something that you know? Because a lot of times, again, if you don't see someone that you feel like you can talk to, I don't know if I told you my story. Like, I got into it by just one of my friends said, hey, I'm gonna do high school. This is how I got into it. I didn't tell my story.
Yeah.
High school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was into sports, into girls. So I didn't really, academically, I didn't really excel as far as like making A's, straight A's, honor rolls, but I had decent grades. So my senior year, I was trying to figure out, I was a jock, so I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and it was for me, it was Marines, or it was like I want to do radio broadcasting. And one of my friends said, hey man, I'm going to the fire department. I said, oh, that's interesting. So I knew there was a fire station. My mom growing up, we always shopped in this area called the Village. It's Station 3's district. So I went to Station 3, and when I went there, I said, hey, I'm not doing the fire station because, again, I don't know how to go about it. I don't know anybody. I don't know how you do about it. So I go to the station, I knock on the door, and when I knock on the door, my supervisor now, Captain Burton, he slammed the door in my face. He said, we don't volunteer here, because I said, I want to volunteer. He said, we don't volunteer here. Slammed the door in my face. But luckily, Captain Melvin overheard me, and he sent me in the direction of volunteering, and I joined the volunteer department. So, but if it wasn't for Captain Melvin, right, like that one experience could have deterred me.
Oh yeah.
Or if I reach out, to the department, fill out an interest card, and I don't hear it back from anybody, I may not want to do it anymore, because I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's not meant to be, right?
Yeah.
Some people say that's lazy, but I look at it in a different perspective. Like, hey, they attempted to, and they don't know any other avenues. So that's how I kind of to kind of bring it all together, right?
Yeah.
When Chief Zodas made this committee, I definitely want to be on it, because I understood what it meant for just one, representation, and two, just I understand that there's other demographics that don't know anything about it, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of females don't see themselves in this job, right? I'm not a female, but if I can introduce you to a female that can tell you what it's like to be in this job, like you said earlier, it'll hit home for you. Your interest will peak more. So we started a committee. I was on the committee for a few years. I went on light duty. Captain Andre Knight, he was heading recruiting for the committee. He had stepped down. Darius Thompson, my counterpart here in Fire Education Division, he was actually on light duty before me. Was he out here? Patrick, was he out here on light duty?
Yes, he was, and he was doing a little bit of what you were doing now. He kind of set a little bit of those that baseline, and then you took over for it. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to interject here.
Yeah.
From where I'm sitting, the marketing guy, I needed somebody that was recruiting full time that I could work with, that I wouldn't have to, you know. It was hard when it was just somebody on duty because they're working once every 3 days essentially, and I need somebody that I can walk across me. I've got an idea right now, so Tim's right down the hall for me, and it's been working great. But yeah, Darius was on light duty before he came over here.
Yeah, so he was on light duty. We both went up for life safety educator because we were both doing it. I was like, well, I'll just, I enjoyed it out here. I was like, let me go put in for this. We both competed, and we said whoever gets the position, we'll just swap, right? So once he got the position for life safety educator, I went and I took over recruiting, and then from there it's just like, hey, like, you're doing a good job. You want to just keep it up, do it. And I've been doing it, and since then, there's a lot of programs I try to implement, and we can get into that in a second. I want to see how you got into the career.
So into the recruiting side. So in 2016, 2017, the city had a goal. They set a goal for us to, again, increase representation. I try to, similarly to how you explained it, people's cultures and backgrounds are different, right? So I grew up in the country where the fire station was a hub of the community. That's where Santa was at Christmas. That's where birthday parties were held, right? You come to the city, and we're a service. We're not a home. We're a service. You call 911, we show up. That's it, right? So I wanted to, again, show people that would not historically be exposed to it what it is. So they had a different recruiter when they first implemented it, and unfortunately, due to budget constraints and things like that, the recruiter not only had to recruit them, so you had to get out and find them. Mm-hmm. But then you had to supervise the academy for the first 6 months. So they were not only, you had to find them, you had to onboard them, then you had to supervise them for 6 months. And we're always running 2 academies, so you're never not supervising. How can you recruit when you're never not supervising, right? That was a challenge that those recruiters were facing. And I really, before I was even the recruiter, I wanted to help people get in the fire service because I had friends help me. I had to do the work. I get accused of holding people's hands all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
But let's face it, if you're a volunteer firefighter or you have friends in the fire service, you have somebody to show you what work to put in.
You have an advantage.
You have somebody to show, work on this, work on that. And I was doing that before I was ever the recruiter. I was helping all my friends at the volunteer fire department get through the process. And my track record was pretty dang good.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I want to offer this to everybody. So the first recruiter we had was kind of voluntold into the position. He wasn't too happy about it, but he took it. The second recruiter we had was 100%. He promoted, and they said, that's where the spot is. That's where you go. And he was very excited to hear that Steve Shakeshaft wanted to be the recruiter if he made captain. He wanted that spot. So he was able to get out, and I took his place. Yeah. And to be fair, I don't want to talk bad about anybody in the past, but the position was very limited just because the people who were there weren't excited to be there.
Right.
They were doing their job.
Right.
But it wasn't their passion. Their passion was getting back on a fire truck as fast as possible. So when I came in, I was given a thumb drive and said, here's your recruitment program, and told everything they wouldn't let me do by the former recruiter, right? And I said, all right, bet. And I spent 5 years. I have a very unhealthy work-life balance. I am not the model example.
Oh my God!
I have a very unhealthy work-life balance.
If my wife could hear this right now.
So I spent 5 years working extremely hard to show the department that they needed a full-time, dedicated recruiter / public information officer on top of filling the role of running the fire academy. So the fire chief came to me back in 2024, and he said, your time is up. You can go back to a fire truck if you want, but who's going to replace you? Who's going to take your spot? And I said, Chief, I'm not the best in the world. There are people who can do this better than me. But I don't think you're going to get somebody with a wife and kids and a family to care about to do what I've done. And he said, well, what if we took the academy out, put that back under training, and made you a full-time public information and education officer, and that's so you can focus on that. So, man, you talked me into it. So here I am still in this position, but now I get to, number one, focus on public information, all aspects of public information, social media, news media, recruitment, anything outward facing is mine.
Right.
And then we transitioned our fire life safety educators. Instead of taking firefighters and teaching them how to teach, because let's face it, most firefighters are not good teachers, we hired professional educators and taught them what to teach.
Okay.
And those two educators are now
I've met them before.
under my shop, Miss Mary and Jody.
Right.
And they help me with like the little kids' career days. They go to the elementary school career days for me.
Yeah.
So I can focus on the actual hireable folks coming up. And they handle all other community risk reduction topics, anything, hands-only CPR, all that stuff. So the way I explain my department now is if it's outward facing, it's us. Outward facing info. So I still get to be the recruiter. And you talked about representation and things like that. When I came into this position, I'll be completely honest with you here. I looked at diversity, that word that everybody hates, right?
Yeah.
Everybody hates that word. It throws up walls.
Can't say the D word.
Right. I looked at that as a necessary evil. I said, how do I promote diversity while still getting the best people? Right?
Yeah.
Give it about a year into my position, and I realized it's not a necessary evil. It's just freaking necessary.
Yeah.
And there's a way to do it the right way.
Yeah.
And we're going to be the best at it that we can be. And I don't brag about a lot of stuff. I don't. But our I call underrepresented population is how I gauge my success. Not black, not white, not women, not Asian. Yeah. Underrepresented population numbers are 10 plus points up since we changed the model of how we were recruiting. Yeah. So I'm super excited about that, and I hope to one day train up the next person to keep that ball rolling.
Hey, it's funny. So similar story. There was no real we never had a quote unquote recruitment person. We had a recruitment team. When I did it, it was kind of like we went to maybe a handful of events a year. So like maybe go to a festival, might go to a school career day, but it was no set schedule or like, hey, we're going to hit this many events, right? Like there's nothing like that. So my job coming into here, Darius had already started. The first thing we realized is with the help of driver Darius Thomas, or the life fire educator, he was like, hey man, like people are filling out these interest cards and like no one's like reaching out to them. It's just like, hey, we're going to notify you when we're hiring.
Yep.
Which is cool. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, but like what if we can weed out people by just engaging with them, right? Like, because a lot of people don't have any idea. They're filling out these interest cards. Oh, I seen whatever one, and now I'm applying, and I get into it. And I know nothing about the fire service. I'm applying, and then when I find out, I take a spot in the academy. I make it through just because I'm smart or athletically have the ability. But then when I get in, I realize it's not for me, and I take a spot and I quit a month, a year, whatever into whatever. Mm-hmm. So we realized we wanted to eliminate that. Like, hey, let's engage people that fill out interest cards. Let's talk to them, give them information so they can make the right decision. Because I don't, as a recruiter, I'm not like the military. I don't want everybody I can or get. I don't have numbers that I have to meet. Correct. I want the right amount of people to apply for this job. I want the right people for the right job, right? So if I can tell you, hey, you need to understand that you're going to have sleep deprivation. You're going to get down and up and close and personal with people. They're going to be naked. They're going to be bleeding, whatever case. You have to be okay with that. Yep. You have to be okay with being at the fire station on a holiday or on the weekend. Like, if I can get all these things, let you know ahead of time so you can make your decision before you even apply.
Facts.
That's what I want to do, right? So one major part of my job is answering all these interest cards, which is a bunch today. Like, I was actually surprised how many people fill out interest cards.
Yep.
And to this day, I get people say, man, like, I don't, like, I filled out like a bunch of these with other departments and no one's gotten back to me. So like, thank you for even applying, like reaching out. And then after that, it's like, hey, like Patrick said, like, I was like, Patrick, like, I want to tap in with you. Like, I don't know how to do any of the stuff that Patrick does, like media, right? I'm a millennial, so I know about social media, right? So I know how to do that. I can work that. But when it comes to just ideas, I lean on to Patrick and we get ideas, and we start a recruitment page because he has a lot of stuff because we are a team of fire life educators. So we have fire life educators, and that's what we do: schools, senior citizens, whatever the case, car seats, all that stuff. And then it's me and the team, and I help out wherever they need help when I can. But the main thing, like on our Facebook page, our Durham Fire Department Facebook page, they have a lot of safety messages, things like that. I was like, well, what if we had a page where we can just reach people who are interested in the fire department? Like where they can go and get certain information, or just like, hey, tips, advice, things like that. Like we need to, so we created another page, went through the proper channels to get that done. And then the podcast is another thing that we started. Like it's like, hey, what do Gen Z's like, or whatever, what they're in the podcast. So that's kind of how we got into this stratosphere we're in now. And like you said, for me, like I hate the thought when people think, oh, you know, diversity, like, oh, they're gonna lower the standards. Like it used to grind my gears. It used to grind my gears when people be like, oh, they're lowering the standard there to get into the job. I'm like, no, we're not lowering the standard. What I'm doing is going out into these communities so I have more people apply. That way there's a higher percentage or a probability of them getting in further into the process.
And like you said, the right people.
people.
We ran into a problem where we were just trying to get people to apply. And it wasn't like a program or a thing, but we were out pushing this recruitment thing for diversity, and you're not focused on the human being behind that application. So I asked my boss when I took the job, I said, man, I don't want to bring you 200 diverse candidates.
Right.
I want to bring you 50 hireable diverse candidates. That's my goal.
Right. So we're just getting out there going. So now we're going to more career fairs, going to the military bases. I'm in Fayetteville. Often I go to these events, career fairs, festivals, whatever. And we're just going and we're out there. Like, reach them young, you know. I started, we have summer camps. It starts there. We had a middle school camp. Now we just started a high school camp, which is just like, it's more so an academy. So we're running you like the academy. We tell people,
really?
Don't come here. Like, we're not doing s'mores. We're not hiking. We're not doing that.
There's no singing Kumbaya.
If you're coming here, we're putting you to work. We're working out every day. You're doing PT regimen every day. We're training.
Is it overnight or do they go home at night?
They go home at night.
Okay.
But we're doing forcible entry. We're doing all this stuff. You're going to learn how to advance a hose line. You're going to do all the stuff that we do in the academy in a short time period, as much as possible. You get assigned gear. You're responsible to take care of the gear. And if you don't, we tell parents, like, they're going to do push-ups. They're going to do stuff. If they don't get it right, we're going to discipline them in a right way.
Yeah.
And if they're not okay with that, don't sign them up for it, right? Because we have the right to now kick them out the camp if they're not. Because we make them sign this agreement, right? This is what it is. We're not going to do anything to hurt them.
No,
But we just want you, if you're here, we want you to want to be here.
Facts.
And if you're showing that you don't want to be here, then there's no need for you to continue on, right? We're not going to waste that time. So I feel like we've done a lot of good. I feel like we made a lot of strides. We had numbers were up, the number in every aspect. And then I feel like the outreach that we have, the channels we have, we getting a lot of contacts. So I feel like my goal and what I wanted to get done is almost there. There's a couple things I would like different, right? Like, obviously, your position, the recruiter position, is the actual position. Like, ours is still developmental. So there's no budget behind it, really.
And that's how mine was when I took it over. 100%, it was the same way. Yep.
So you have those budgetary issues where, you know, like,
you're borrowing money from other divisions
my captain from Life Education, like, he's helped me out tremendously. The whole team here has been great.
Yeah.
Juan, he's been very great, like, just helping out, and he's lending me the money to do stuff, taking out his budget, because he really believes in the ideal and what we have going to mission. So he's like, hey, there's no real budget for this, but how much do you need? And then he'll give it to me. So
let me ask you this. Let me get down a rabbit trail. You brought up coming to the military bases. How many times have you been to Fort Bragg?
I've been to Fort Bragg probably, now this year not a lot, but last year I would go like twice a month.
Okay.
And Durham Police Department goes there like every week.
Oh yeah. What was your experience with women in the military as far as recruitment goes? I'm curious if it was similar to mine, and then I'll tell you why I asked the question in a second.
Well, I'll tell you this, and why I haven't been to the military bases as much as what I found is, one, for me, just for me, and I'm coming from Durham, so I'm coming like an hour and a half away, right? Yep. When I talk to people, one, they need a job right now, currently. Like,
Yep.
yeah, I want a job, and we might not be running academy for another 4 to 5 months.
Yep.
2, not all of them from here, like they're military, so
They're trying to get back home,
right? So they're like, hey, they'll contact me, but it's not for my department. They want to know about the fire service in general, which I don't mind helping our service members out in that aspect, getting some information. But, and 3, you know, they'll be like, well, if Durham's like an hour and a half, that's kind of far. And I'm like, okay, well. At the time, I didn't have your number, so now I could just send it your way. But I'm like, okay, I mean, you only work 10 days a month. But as far as women, yeah. Oh, and the other thing is a lot of people like, man, I'm trying to get out of things that's going to beat up my body, right? Because they're like.
Okay,
yeah,
so that's similar to that.
Yeah.
I thought that finding female firefighters at a military base was going to be perfect because they're already in shape. They already have a mind for service. They already understand a paramilitary organization. This will be a perfect transition for a woman getting out of the military. I can only speak from my experiences. I am not saying that this is all. It's not all. Right. But I tell you, 90% of the women that I spoke to in the military, their answer was the same. I'm getting out of the Army to start a family and get away from structure. The last thing I want is to get back into a paramilitary structure. That's why I'm leaving, is to go back to normal life. Yeah. And it blew my mind. I thought for sure that it would be advantageous to find those people. Now, where I have had a lot of successes in the gyms, just hitting the local gyms, the local Fit for Lifes, the local 24-hour fitness. But it's been recruiting on base, the constant, well, I'm trying to go back to Texas. Will you certify me nationally recognized? Well, yeah, I will, but I don't want you to go back to Texas. I want people who are staying here. Yeah. So we've built a partnership with the Career Skills Transition Program, where the last 6 months you're in the Army, you can get job training, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to get the Fayetteville Fire Department into that program, but we couldn't because there's a lot of MOAs, memorandums of agreement, and all sorts of like there's a lot of stuff mixed in that. But what I did do was partner with Fayetteville Tech, and they're putting the soldiers transitioning out into my fire academy as soldiers getting job training, and I've hired 7 of them, 8 of them.
Really?
Didn't cost me a dime in training. The military paid every dime of their training, and then they come and flip and work for us. That
also, it becomes a problem when we're recruiting on bases. You know, I'm there and there's other people there, but they're like, yo, use your GI Bill, we'll get you trained up, we're guaranteed, we have a network, like we can guarantee you a job, right? And I can't really compete with that because I can't guarantee you a job. You gotta gotta apply.
You still gotta go through the process.
So the one program, you talk about programs, like, so outside of our camps, which is kind of like a bridge way for us, like we start in middle school, just get you interest, like learn about the fire. That's more like we go skating, we still have fun with them in that aspect. Once you get to high school, it's like, all right, we're gearing you to say, hey, do you want to come to the fire service? This is what it's going to be like, right? This is what the academy is going to be like. And if you're interested, if you're a 9th grader, hey, Northern High School has a high school program.
That was going to be my next question. If you had that too, we got that too.
Program. So you can go there, go to Northern High School, which I help teach there as well, and help the Chief Hayes, our former battalion chief. I help teach there as well. So I was like, you can go to Northern and learn about the fire department and get certified almost.
Everything but fire control.
Everything but fire control.
Yep.
So that's the camp. So middle school camp, high school camp, the bridge into the high school program, and then just recently, this is our first year doing it, we have an apprenticeship program, which is for 17-year-olds, high school seniors, rising seniors. They go through it. They train with us twice a month, and they also ride the truck. And what happens is we don't certify them or anything like that, but we introduce them to the fire service. Yeah. Get used to the culture, see what it's like. But it also allows us we get to interview them. It's a long-term interview.
Yeah.
Like, are you on time? Do you follow directions? Do you test well?
Your job interview starts now.
Yep. You got to test well. So I tell them when they get into the program, like, look, going into this program can help you or hurt you.
Yep.
If you're not good, if you have flaws, you have red flags, we're going to find out.
Yep.
Now, our job is not to knock you necessarily because you have one red flag, but we're going to take a course of correction. And if you still don't follow that course of correction, then we understand that there may be a problem, right? So we do this program, and then once they get done, they are given an interview for the department. Now they have to pass the testing and everything, but if you pass the testing, you are allowed to interview. And so, and that part of the whole program is to help you prepare for the process.
For sure.
So that's something. This was our first year with everything. You know, there are some things we learned and things we're going to clean up and try to change. But it's been positive so far.
As long as you're prepared to make those changes and your leadership is ready to kind of acknowledge that we're still learning.
Right.
That's where it's at. We have a high school program at E.E. Smith, similar setup. They go in there, they get certified, and they also get college credits. I don't know if your high school does that or not, but if you start that program as a freshman or a sophomore, you're going to earn college credits before you even graduate high school, and then you can transition to Fayetteville Tech and all that stuff. And we as a department were not very good at honing the students that were promising in that program, and now we're really focusing on those promising students. We had a young lady last year. Not last year, 2 years ago, something like that. We ran our hiring process for certifieds only because we were short. We had to run a certified process, and this girl went from high school to job in a span of 3 months.
Nice.
Graduated high school and 3 months later was working for us out of that high school fire academy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunity there. We've probably got 10 or 13 of them working for us now out of that high school program. So if your organization is supportive of that and realizing we're still learning, we're going to have to tweak things, you'll love it. You'll see a lot of good stuff out of that.
Yeah, we've already seen some two of the people in the apprentice program are from our high school camp. And again, this is our first year doing the high school camp and the apprentice program. So that was good. We also have people from Northern High School that were in the apprenticeship program, and they applied recently. So we'll see. I mean, we're at the very beginning stages, so we'll see what happens from it. But again, it's from 17 to 24. 24 being the max age. 17, you have to be a senior. It's not just to learn about the fire department. If you're going to this program, you're going to apply with us. That's the whole. Now, of course, you may lose people in the process because they're 18, they apply to another department because they're trying to get work. Can't be mad at that. But,
nope.
But their intentions were to apply here. So, let's see. I was going to ask you. Okay, so one thing I do want to ask you, just as far as Fayetteville, I know what I look for, but tell people who are in the Cumberland County area, what are you looking for in a firefighter? What is something that Fayetteville's looking for?
So what I told you before is we're looking for good people. The aspects we can't teach. Looking for that integrity. Looking for that the physical ability that they want to improve. Even if they're not a rock star physical ability person today, we see that drive to improve, right? So the integrity, the drive, the work ethic. What are you doing? If you want this job, what are you doing today to prepare for that, right? Mm-hmm. You have your set grading matrix when you're doing an interview, right? They think it's all HRE when you say work ethic, communication skills, all these factors you got to check off. Yeah. But those are human factors, and you can see those human factors from the first candidate orientation. When people show up at candidate orientation and they're helping each other, they're helping the other candidates, right? When people show up at candidate orientation and they're able to articulate a thought and interact with you, and they're not doing it in arrogant ways, or you know what I mean? Like, it's really that all-around person, because you don't need to be a firefighter. I can teach you that. I'm looking for the right people. I would rather have somebody who scored an 80 on the written exam and passed the physical ability test in 8 minutes and 30 seconds and is the right person than somebody who scored a 95 on the written exam and passed the physical ability test in 6 minutes and 10 seconds but is a jerk. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. So with that being said, what's some advice you would give someone that's trying to apply somewhere or get into a fire service?
Step number one, do your research. Like you talked about, understand what you're walking into. I can get out and give the best sales pitch in the world for why we have the best job ever, but I end every single one of those sales pitches with, have you ever held somebody's hand while they were dying, right? Be real about it. Do your research. Understand the job you're walking into. Number two, do something that prepares you for this style of work. Some chiefs in the fire service like to see that you were a volunteer first. Mm-hmm. Some chiefs don't. Some chiefs are a little hesitant to get people from other departments. But if you're doing something, volunteering in your community, volunteering for the fire department, doing something to get your mindset and work toward this goal, do that. Be involved in your community. Be active. and step up to prepare for it. And then lastly, when you come into the interview, know how to articulate all those things that you're doing in the questions. I teach interview skills. As part of our candidate orientation, we teach interview skills, because talking good about yourself is not something a lot of people are good at, right?
Yeah.
But when you're doing a panel interview, I don't have time or ability to ask you more questions to get more information out of you.
Right.
I can only judge what you're telling me in the answer. So you need to tell me all these things that you're doing to prepare. Volunteering with your local fire department, deacon in your church, whatever it is that you've done, you need to tell that to me in the answers to your questions. And that's a skill. Yeah. That's a skill in itself. So we actually teach that in the interview skills, is how to articulate all those good things that you're doing in the answer to any question.
So I would piggyback on that just a little bit. I think outside of the fire department, this advice goes for everything that you do, right? No matter what department, what company you're applying for, research that company, that department. You're going to go over better being able to give facts about that company or that department versus someone who just says, oh, I know the fire department does, they respond to EMS and they do public education. Cool. But if I say, hey, I know you guys have part of your mission statement is this, right?
Yep.
You're big on public service. You guys have this program for because then that shows me you really care, you research, you really want to be here. You looked into the department, you looked into the job, right? For us, we offer ride-alongs, so
do a ride
any
along.
chance you get to do a ride-along, like you said, I can sell this job all day. I can talk to you blue in the face, but the only way you can tell this job is for you is by getting on that truck and seeing it firsthand. See how our day goes. See how we interact. See what the culture is at the fire station. You might not like how Durham culture is. You might not like how Fayetteville culture is. You might be suited for another department. You go there, but do a ride along. Don't just jump into this. There's so many resources and so many things there. You got the Fayetteville Fire Podcast. You got the Bull City Bravest Podcast. Listen to them. Find out about this job. There's so many resources. There's no reason why you can't find about this job. So take every chance you get to show up, meaning ride-alongs. If we're having hiring sessions, information sessions, the more you show your face, the more people are going to remember, more people are going to ask about you, and just you prepare yourself more. So that would be my advice for people.
Every event that we have, I have somewhere between 5 and 8 staff members supporting me, and they are already watching you. They are watching everything that you do. Your interview starts the minute you make contact with a Fayetteville firefighter, because they are watching. And I don't say that to be intimidating. It's just the reality of it, Show us your real self. Don't be afraid to show us who you are. And really, it's going to go a long way, just those interpersonal skills.
Also, when you go on a ride-alongs, or if you go whether you go to buy a station, go to a ride-along, remember, you're being judged on everything. So don't come on a ride-along on Crocs or open-toed. You can't do that, right? Be prepared for whatever you're doing. Casual. You ain't got to have a button-up shirt, but don't have your shirt all tore or wrinkled and stuff like that. Try to look presentable as much as possible. Again, because naturally we're humans and we're naturally going to judge. And so just to give yourself an upper hand, just go ahead and be prepared.
And I teach in my interview skills class, in that grading matrix of your interview, guess what's not a category? How you're dressed. However, it is proven, look good, feel good, do good. You are going to perform better when you are walking in there confident. I don't care what you have on consciously, but unconsciously those things change, not only for the panelists, but for you. So,
couple more questions and then I'll wrap it on up.
Yeah. Before we run out of time.
What's the best advice you got in the fire service?
Best advice I've gotten?
Yeah, that you received. That sticks with you today.
So when I first, I would say 2 things: as a new firefighter, then as a new supervisor. Number 1 is a new firefighter. I had my first captain sat me down on day 2 when we got to that new station. He sat me down and he said, you're going to spend the next 30 days out there with the lieutenant, learning the fire truck, learning where all the equipment is, cleaning the equipment, learning the ins and outs of it. We can clean the toilet later. We can mop the floor later. You need to know your job before any of that takes place. Because a lot of places you go, first thing you do is clean the station, right? Every morning you clean the house. He said, we're going to clean the house later. Yeah. So if you're a brand new firefighter, you need to be the first person up to do the dishes, the last person down at the end of the night. You need to be inventorying the truck with your driver and cleaning equipment, because not only do you need to know how to use it, you need to know how to fix it when it breaks and you're in the middle of a job. Know your job. Be a master at your job. That was the best piece of advice I got as a new firefighter. Then as a supervisor, realizing that you are not there as a supervisor to tell people what to do. You are there to serve them and make sure they are serving others. You are a servant of your employees and making sure they have the resources they need, the knowledge they need, the discipline they need. Sometimes, you hate to say it, but sometimes they need the discipline, right? You are their servant, not their boss. Right. That was the best thing as a leader, was I am here for my people, not just to tell them what to do.
Yeah. Again, I'm just piggyback on that a little bit. Again, do your job. Don't be in such a rush. Like, I hear people, they come to me, they're like, well, how fast can I make it to captain? Listen, bro, worry about being a fire recruit first, right? That's what you want to be. That's the first step. Do that. Then worry about being a good probationary firefighter. Be good at that. Then worry about being a good firefighter. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, I got my CDL, I want to be a driver. Okay, bro.
Slow down.
Slow down. Slow down. You can do all that, right? But focus on your job that's in front of you, and that the other steps are going to come. You're going to put in good people in your station, your mentors. They're going to prep you for everything else that you need to get. But just focus on it. So I think that's great, solid advice. Last things I'm gonna ask you is, one, tell them about Fayetteville Fire Department and what you love about the department, why your department is great. And then, two, tell them when the next time you guys might be hiring.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw that right back at you, because that was going to be the last thing I wanted to talk about, was kind of how we're similar.
Yeah, okay.
We're similar but different, right? Same but different. So the Fayetteville Fire Department is, when I tell y'all we're the littlest big town in America, it is true. On census, we're only serving 208,000 people. But that's not including Fort Bragg. That's not including all the people that we're serving 500,000 people a day, all day long. And we are running calls, and if you want to be a firefighter, Fayetteville is the place to do it. If you want to be a firefighter held to standards, Fayetteville is the place to do it. We are one of the only ISO Class 1 and internationally accredited agencies in the state. I think there's a couple more, but we're one of the few. There's only 119 on the planet, and a lot of people in the fire service that are listening to this and shaking their head right now saying, accreditation, because I know you are. Well, the great part about that is that we have a continuous improvement plan where we are not only going to be a better organization, but we're going to make you better as an employee. We're going to invest in you to turn around and invest in us, and there's a set plan for that to help you get where you want to be professionally, to turn that into our professional agency. That's something that I'm really proud of. And again, I know there's a lot of people kind of rolling their eyes at that right now, but we take it seriously, and it has worked great for us. If you look at some of the changes that have happened in Fayetteville, we are always growing, we are always evolving, and it's been awesome to see that change over I've been here 20 years. I just celebrated my 20-year anniversary back in January, and I've watched it. I've seen it happen, and it works. And the cool part between Fayetteville and Durham is I describe Durham as the Fayetteville with high-rises. It's Fayetteville with high-rises is how I call it, because we are very similar in demographics. We're very similar in calls. So what is it about Durham that you love, and what keeps you here up this way?
I can say, I tell people all the time, if you want to do this job and perform this job at the highest level, there is no greater department than Durham, in my opinion. There's a lot of great departments out there. Fayetteville is a great department, right? But everything about this department I love is the culture. We have a great working culture here. The people here love to train. Chiefs love us to train. We're not out here worried about your uniform every single second of the day. They want to see you. If your chief is worried about how you look versus your how you perform, or how healthy you are, that is a problem for me, right? So I love the fact that there's room to grow here. Like there's so many avenues in the fire department without just fighting fire. So yes, come in here. I want you to be on the back of the truck and fight fire. But also, later on in your career, you can transition to training. You can transition to being a public life safety educator. You can transition to do investigator or inspector. Those are things you can do. It's a great Durham and Fayetteville are similar in this aspect where we are mid-sized departments comparably to, your Charlotte or your bigger cities, right? So while, in fact, there's room to grow and promote up, there's always room to promote and grow, whereas your smaller departments, you only have maybe 5 stations, so you may only have 5 captain slots. Fayetteville and Durham, here we have, 20-plus captain slots or more than that. Fayetteville's the same thing. But we're also small enough where it's still very personable. Like, I know the majority of people in my department. I don't know everybody, right?
Yep.
But I would say about 80% of the department, I know them, and we're very close in that aspect. Where in larger departments, you can get lost in the sauce. So I think that's where we're similar in that place. But aggressiveness, the same type of calls. We're aggressive tactically. You're going to get your gunshot wounds at both places. You're going to get your we have high rise. We have hazmat incidents. Like, it is if you want to run calls and get experience, this is a great place to be, and I love it. As far as us, we're currently hiring right now. So if you're looking to apply with the city of Durham, we're currently hired. We hire around the same time every year. That's something that the hiring committee, Tiki Majors, Andre Knight, when we were doing the committee, that's something that they suggested. So every year, if you miss it this year, every March or April we'll be hiring, so always be lookout for that.
And I forgot to bring up, we're September for us.
September.
Similar setup every September. Around fall, we're going to run our hiring process every year.
Yeah, man. That's pretty much it, man. I think there's a lot of similarities, man. I tell people, like, Fayetteville, whenever I talk about fire department, I said the department that's closer to us in size and probably how we operate is Fayetteville's close in that aspect. Specialty companies, you guys have rescue companies.
Yep.
And
Rescue, USAR, hazmat.
Yep. Swiftwater. Y'all got the Swiftwater, nice Swiftwater
beautiful facility. You guys come down and train every now and then. We see you down there. And I will throw, lastly, at least on my part, is you brought up culture. I think one of the other similarities between Fayetteville and Durham is a community that is very tight-knit. People from Durham are proud to be from Durham. Yeah. People from Fayetteville, because there's not a lot of people from Fayetteville, most of them are transplant militaries, right? They're proud to be from Fayetteville. There is a culture in our fire department of pride and community also. And so I think we have that in common. And you made me think of one more piece of advice when you talked about the uniform stuff. I'm going to defend my fire chief a little bit. When you brought that up, it made me laugh. I will tell young firefighters, the chief put it in the tag of his email a couple weeks ago, he might get on you about your uniform. But if that's all he's getting on you about, you are doing a darn good job. If all I have to say to you is your hat is faded, replace it. You're a pretty dang good employee, right? So don't let that discourage you if they do that. But I understand the frustration. I get frustration a lot when you're like, really, that's what you're going to pick on me about? But really, you're a good firefighter if that's all he's got to ride you about.
Now, I will say, to explain mine a little bit more, it's not just
there's always a story.
Yeah, it's not just the hat thing. Like, that's cool. Yeah. But what I'm talking about is when you're micromanaged to the point where that's where they're focusing on the little stuff. Like, your bed corners aren't tucked in. Like, it's really, really small stuff. Like, if that's constantly what you're nitpicking, that's when saying, hey, tuck in your shirt, whatever. That's cool. But if they care about more than you taking 3 minutes to get through a regular residential door, then there's a problem there, right?
Yeah, I got you.
The focus should be firefighting, right? And being good at the job.
I had to throw that out there because it was a funny conversation we had just a couple weeks ago that, if Chief is riding you about little stuff, just remember, that means you're doing the big stuff right. So we'll work together to make the little things good.
Well, listen, Cap, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, sir, and I appreciate you joining me, man.
This is a great conversation. Give me your Twitter handle, whatever you got,
so,
whatever.
So here's what I definitely want to say. If you're following the Bull City Bravest, click on over and subscribe to Radio Fayetteville or the Fayetteville Fire Department podcast on YouTube. And then if you're listening to the Fayetteville Fire Podcast on YouTube or Radio Fayetteville on Spotify, flip on over and subscribe to Durham's Bravest podcast, because we need to help each other. At the end of the day, yes, we may be competing for some firefighters when it comes to hiring. We all want to see people in the fire service. We all want to see people serving their community. And we're going to work together to make that happen, whether it's here, Durham, Raleigh, wherever. We're all buddies, and we all help each other out. So subscribe to the other, whichever you're listening to.
Yeah, the goal is always the job and to increase the job and just always make sure we have the great people in this job. Also, Instagram, Fayetteville, your Instagram, Facebook, look it up. If you're interested, don't be shy. Shoot a message to Captain Shakeshaft, Shakeshaft, and shoot a message to me as well. Join Durham FD on Instagram and Facebook, or just Durham Fire Department on Instagram and Facebook. Producer Patrick, any final words?
Had a good time listening to you guys. Thank you for coming on. It's cool to listen to two recruiters kind of ham it with each other, talk about what they do. You guys just gave the handles and everything, so I'll just say world needs more firefighters. Apply to Durham or apply to Fayetteville, wherever you got to go. Just, get into the business. Good people in it. Take it out, Tim.
Yeah, like Patrick said, the world needs firefighters. The first step is going in, just researching and finding out. It's plenty of things out here. Again, if you're interested, you can reach either one of us. Listen, this has been another episode of Bull City Bravest Podcast with the collaboration of Fire Faye.
Faye Fire.
Faye Fire Podcast. My apologies. Yeah, my apologies. This was completely unscripted, unfiltered.
Write it out with my script.
Yeah. So if you, again, like, follow, subscribe, share. Can't share that enough. Say that enough. And if you have any comments, make sure you shoot me a message. Shoot Captain a message, and I'm done.
And for those of you listening, thank you for listening to Bull City Bravest and the Faye Fire Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Radio Fayetteville on all your favorite streaming platforms, and switch over and subscribe to the Bull City's Bravest on YouTube. Until next month, stay safe, guys.